Every March 25th, people around the world pause to recognize a day that is both solemn and powerful in its message. We mark the International Day of Solidarity with detained and missing staff members, a day that calls on us to unite in support of those who have dedicated their lives to serving others, often in the most challenging and dangerous environments imaginable. This United Nations Day honors the courage and commitment of staff members who risk, and sometimes lose, their freedom or even their lives while carrying out their vital work. These individuals are more than just employees. They are peacekeepers, aid workers, journalists, and support staff who venture into the world's most dangerous places to deliver hope, relief, and a sense of humanity to those in need. Whether they are distributing food in war-torn regions, reporting from the front lines of conflict, or ensuring that vital supplies reach those who need them most, their work is essential, and often comes at a tremendous personal cost. But their missions come with grave risks: detention, disappearance, and unimaginable uncertainty for their families, who wait anxiously for news, hoping for a safe return that sometimes never comes. This day is a stark reminder of the human cost of humanitarian work, and the sacrifices made not only by those on the front lines, but also by their loved ones left behind. It's a call for global unity, to remember the lost, demand action for the detained, and reflect on the sacrifices made in the pursuit of peace and justice. Around the world, vigils are held, candles are lit, and voices are raised in solidarity. As conflicts grow more complex and unpredictable, so do the dangers for UN staff, who often work where law and order have broken down and where the threat of violence is ever present. The International Day of Solidarity shines a light on these injustices, ensuring that the stories of the missing and detained are not forgotten, and that their plight remains at the forefront of our collective conscience. We remember the empty chairs at dinner tables, the silent offices left behind, and the dreams put on hold by uncertainty and loss. Their mission was peace. Our duty is to advocate for their safety and freedom, to speak out for those who cannot speak for themselves, and to demand justice and accountability. We must do everything in our power to protect those who serve humanity, ensuring that their bravery is matched by our commitment to their security and well-being. This day is a promise, a collective vow that we will not rest until every detained staff member is released, every missing person is found, and every family is reunited. It's a pledge of solidarity, remembrance, and action, a commitment to stand up for those who stand up for others, no matter the cost. Let's stand together for those who stand for us, and let our solidarity be a beacon of hope for all who serve in the name of peace. To truly understand the significance of this day, we must look back at a story that shook the humanitarian world and left a lasting mark on the United Nations community. It all began with the abduction of Alec Collette, a name that would come to symbolize both tragedy and resilience. Alec was a dedicated British journalist, working for the United Nations Relief and Works Agency, UNRWA, in Lebanon in 1985. He was passionate about telling the stories of Palestinian refugees, giving a voice to those who had been silenced by conflict and displacement. On March 25th, while on assignment, Alec was kidnapped by armed men on a tense, deserted street. For decades, his fate remained a haunting mystery, casting a shadow over his family, friends, and colleagues. His disappearance served as a chilling reminder of the grave dangers faced by UN staff and humanitarian workers operating in volatile conflict zones, where every day can bring new risks. Despite tireless efforts by the United Nations to locate him, their search was met with silence and uncertainty, leaving Alec's loved ones in a state of agonizing limbo for years. Alec's case brought international attention to the urgent need for greater protection, accountability, and support for humanitarian workers, sparking important conversations and policy changes within the UN and beyond. In his memory, the International Day of Solidarity with detained and missing staff members was established, observed each year on the anniversary of his abduction, to honor those who risk their lives in service of others. In 2009, after nearly a quarter of a century, Alec's remains were finally discovered, bringing a measure of closure to his family and colleagues, but also serving as a stark reminder of the ongoing risks faced by those who serve in the world's most dangerous places. Today, Alec's legacy lives on, inspiring renewed efforts to ensure the safety and security of all humanitarian staff, and reminding us of the courage it takes to stand up for humanity in the face of danger. We remember Alec not only as a victim of conflict, but as a symbol of unwavering courage, compassion, and commitment to making the world a better place for those in need. The International Day of Solidarity has a clear and vital purpose: to raise awareness about the immense challenges faced by humanitarian and United Nations workers around the world, and to remind us of our shared responsibility to support them. It is a day to honor those who risk everything for others, often putting their own lives on the line to deliver aid, comfort, and hope to people in desperate need. Many people don't realize the daily dangers that UN and humanitarian workers face, traveling through conflict zones, braving natural disasters, and working in areas where violence and instability are constant threats. This day brings their stories to light, urging the world to listen, to care, and to act. By sharing their experiences, we can inspire greater understanding and support for their mission. It's a tribute to their courage, resilience, and unwavering commitment. A reminder that their sacrifices will not be forgotten and that their legacy lives on in the lives they touch. When a staff member is attacked, detained, or goes missing, it's not just a personal tragedy, it's an attack on the very principles of peace, justice, and humanity that the United Nations stands for. We demand accountability, thorough investigations, and justice for every case. Impunity cannot be tolerated, and every act of violence against humanitarian workers must be met with a strong and united response. The day is also a plea for better protection. Improved training, secure facilities, and strong legal safeguards are essential to ensure that those who help others can do so safely and with dignity. But the United Nations cannot do it alone. Host governments and local authorities must also take responsibility and work together to guarantee the safety and security of all humanitarian staff. We advocate for universal respect for international humanitarian law, and for the protection of those who dedicate their lives to helping others, regardless of borders or politics. The ultimate goal is to prevent these tragedies from happening, to spare families the pain of uncertainty, and to ensure that every humanitarian worker returns home safely to their loved ones. Solidarity means more than remembrance. It means action, advocacy, and a commitment to making real change for those on the front lines of crisis. Let's work together to make humanitarian work safer for all, and to build a world where compassion and courage are always protected and celebrated. Humanitarian work often happens in the world's most unstable regions, war zones, disaster areas, and places with little rule of law. Aid workers, meant to be neutral, can become targets, caught in crossfire, kidnapped, or unlawfully detained. These acts violate international law and basic human rights. For staff, it's terrifying. For families, it's agonizing uncertainty. Attacks on aid workers have increased, with even the UN flag or Red Cross emblem sometimes ignored. Every mission carries risk, but these workers press on to save lives. When a worker is attacked, vital aid is disrupted. Food, medicine, and peace efforts are put on hold. The most vulnerable suffer most. An attack on one is an attack on the entire community they serve. The UN takes staff safety seriously, launching urgent efforts when someone is detained or missing. The Department of Safety and Security coordinates with governments and organizations to secure their release. The Secretary General often intervenes directly. The UN Staff Union keeps the world's attention on these cases, organizing events and publishing reports to honor the missing and detained. Data on attacks is shared widely, building a case for stronger protection and accountability. Information is power. These reports drive action. Beyond the UN, NGOs, human rights groups, and citizens advocate for humanitarian safety through petitions, campaigns, and outreach. Collective action sends a clear message. The world is watching. Every voice adds pressure for justice and change. We must not be silent. Together, we can make a difference. Looking ahead, protecting humanitarian workers is more critical than ever. Crises are growing. Climate disasters, conflicts, and displacement are on the rise. The demand for aid will increase, as will the risks. We must strengthen systems to keep workers safe. International law must be enforced. Zero tolerance for attacks on aid workers. Support for treaties and institutions like the International Criminal Court is vital. Technology, drones, secure communications, digital security can help protect staff. Training and innovation are key. But above all, global responsibility is needed. Governments, communities, and individuals must build a culture of respect for humanitarian work. Let's teach compassion, speak out, and work for a future where every aid worker returns home safely. The hope? One day this will be a day of celebration, not remembrance. The safety of humanitarian workers is a global concern. It affects us all. These workers represent our shared humanity, delivering aid and hope on our behalf. Attacks on them undermine our ability to respond to crises and threaten the values of peace and cooperation. Their work, feeding the hungry, healing the sick, rebuilding after disaster, creates a safer world for everyone. When violence disrupts their work, the consequences ripple worldwide. Famine, disease, and conflict worsen. Protecting aid workers is a moral obligation. They help anyone in need, regardless of politics or background. Targeting them is inhumane. We must stand up for those who stand up for others. The International Day of Solidarity is a chance to reaffirm our commitment to humanitarian principles. By supporting and demanding protection for aid workers, we build a better world for all. Their safety is our shared responsibility. Let's not forget it. You can help, no matter where you are. Learn about the International Day of Solidarity and share these stories. Support organizations working on the ground. Your donation can fund vital security and supplies. Back groups that advocate for human rights and legal protections. Use your voice. Contact your representatives, urge them to protect humanitarian workers, and support diplomatic efforts. Participate in campaigns and events on March 25th. Show solidarity with families and colleagues of the missing and detained. Every action, big or small, adds to the momentum for change. By standing up, you send hope to those still at risk. Together, we can create a safer world for humanitarian heroes. Your support matters. As we close, remember humanitarian workers are our global protectors. They run toward danger to bring hope and relief to the world's most vulnerable. Their work is an act of service, not for glory, but for humanity. Each missing or detained staff member is a life interrupted, a family in anguish, a mission on hold. We have a moral duty to protect them, fight for their freedom, and honor their sacrifice. Their safety is the foundation of all humanitarian work. When we fail them, we fail ourselves. Let's carry the spirit of solidarity all year. Be their advocates, supporters, and champions. By protecting our protectors, we safeguard hope for a better future. Their mission is our mission, their safety, our promise.